This program is brought to you by generous donations from the community and sponsored by Stifel Financial.
Good evening. My name is Lynn Forbes, your host for tonight's edition of Nevada County Now. In tonight's edition of Nevada County Now, we will discuss next week's election with a representative from the League of Women Voters of Nevada County, report on a new ballot processing facility in Grass Valley, and visit with Nevada County's new Registrar of Voters, Armando Salud-Ambriz. Don't go away. We'll take a short sponsor break, and we'll be right back.
Thank you to Stifel Financial, proudly helping individuals pursue financial goals, businesses and organizations raise and protect capital, and communities offer a higher quality of life. To learn more, visit www.stifel.com.
Election Day is less than a week away. Your participation in this election is a vital part of the process. Every voice matters, every vote counts. The California Secretary of State website has all essential information regarding voter registration, location of polling sites, ballot drop boxes, and hours of operation. You can find the website and contact information in today's show notes. Be part of the decision. Get informed, get ready, and get out that vote. In our studio today, we are fortunate to have Randi Swisley, Voter Services Chair of the League of Women Voters of Nevada County. Welcome, Randi. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
So full disclosure, I'm co-president of the League this year, and you were Voter Services Chair, and I've had the privilege of watching all this work that you have been doing to prepare information for our voters so that they can make an informed decision. You had mentioned to me before that you thought this was one of the most well-written, simple propositions you've seen in your time.
Yes, some of them are extremely complicated and likely to end up in court. This one is one of the most simple. In fact, I have the entire text. We have the entire text of it on our website. So you can sit down and read it in probably less than a minute. It's about 3 or 4 paragraphs. What it is a new section in the California Constitution that very clearly states that it is temporary, it goes away in 2030, and it's just done in a very clean way.
So it's interesting because as simple as the proposition is written, it's a very complicated issue. And it belies what really is beneath the words. And you have produced 5 really very nonpartisan, clear, informative videos, very short videos, to explain what exactly is composed and comprised in this proposition, which you can find on our website, by the way. But let's go over those. So you give an overview. Can you give a really at this point, we assume most people know what this proposition is about, but if you could just kind of start for us, those of us who want to hear it again. What the proposition states, and then we can go through the logistics from there.
Yes, what it does is it replaces the Citizens Redistricting Commission, which is in our state constitution.
And that was voted in and not too long ago, correct? Like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that.
I think it's been a little bit longer, but not too much longer. I think it's been more than a decade, but not very long.
Okay.
And it's unusual to have a commission instead of the legislature. By far, most states have a legislature. Well, all of us have legislatures, but most states use the legislature to draw their congressional maps every 10 years.
Based on
the census that's done every 10 years. And California, along with 9 other states in our nation, have an independent commission that does that instead of the legislature, with the intent of trying to remove politicians from the process. So California tends to take the control or California's citizens and voters are very concerned about the state of California. And so you will find a lot of things in our Constitution that other states don't have in their constitutions. And so that's one of them, is the Citizens Redistricting Commission is in the Constitution. So if we don't want to use that, even temporarily, we have to modify the Constitution. In order to do that, it required a 2/3 vote of both houses in not Congress, but our state legislature, to get it on the ballot. Once it's on the ballot, then it just needs a simple majority vote. But yeah, the issue here is whether or not California citizens and voters want to react or counteract. It's called gerrymandering, which is the way that the congressional districts were redrawn recently in Texas. They explicitly said what they wanted to do is create an advantage of to Republicans of 5 representatives. So
5 additional seats in Congress.
They wanted to replace 5 Democrats in their state with 5 Republicans.
So by redrawing the map the way they did, putting little hooks in little funny little graphics, then it's more than likely that Republicans would be voted in those seats.
That's what they're hoping.
Okay.
And that's what the people that back Prop 50 here are hoping. Only the opposite.
Okay.
But in reality, the only thing that will affect who sits in what seat from whatever state is the voters. So, for example, if I'm a registered Republican and I am in a district that has more registered Democrats there than Republicans, I can still vote for a Democrat, and vice versa. If I'm a Democrat and I'm in a district that has a majority of Republicans, I can still vote for a Republican.
Right. I mean, so, it's not guaranteed, but it puts a thumb on the scale.
It does put a thumb on the scale, and that's what gerrymandering is.
Yeah. I mean, it's again, this proposition is such a short, simple, sweet proposition, yet it's such a complicated issue. So, what are the major arguments for and against Prop 50?
Okay, so the people for it say things like you can't take a knife to a gunfight. If you really want to counteract gerrymandering going on in other states, you need to gerrymander in California. The people that are against it say things like that's a slippery slope. Once we start, once we start going down that path, it's just not, two wrongs don't make a right. Maybe that's another way to say it.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it, probably. I just saw in the news that Indiana, for instance, is considering doing the same thing that Texas did.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a race to
the bottom. That could be, I don't want to represent either one of those sides.
Sure.
I'm just trying to rationalize what the rational arguments are on each side, because you also hear lots of arguments on each side that are untrue. And so those are the two that I've been able to grab onto that are actually rational on each side.
Got it. What about the financing behind the campaigns for pro and con?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of money on both. There's about $190 million that's been donated for, and about $88.5 million against. The difference, the main difference besides the amounts, are the fact that about 10% of the money for has come from donations that are less than $100. So you're talking about $190 million, and 10% of those are under $100. So it means there's thousands of people that have donated. The money against has largely come from one person, and his name's Charles Munger Jr., and he's no stranger to campaign finance. His father did the same type of thing. For Republican and kind of ultra-conservative Republican causes, the Republican Party and Republican candidates. So it's really kind of a tradition, I guess you could say, for their family. But that is where most of the money has come from against.
What is the polling saying to date? What's it looking like?
I haven't even looked because that's not my business. My business is to educate people about when they go to the polls, that they don't feel uncomfortable because they don't understand something.
They don't have the right information, right?
I understand if they go to the polls and say, gosh, I can't make my mind up. That's different, and I can't help with that. What I can help with is if they go to the polls and say, gosh, I wish I understood this better, or I wish I understood that better. That I'd like to help with.
Good. Yeah. And you've done an excellent job. If people go to the website, they'll see a lot more information and these 5 videos that I'm speaking about that are very clear and very short and to the point and nonpartisan. So great job on that. Thanks. Okay, well, we'll see. 1 week from, well, not even 1 week, right? 6 days from today.
Right.
And we will find out. We're going to have the new Registrar of Voters on here to tell us what that process will be like after the voter has made his or her decision.
Yeah.
Thanks for your great work, Randi.
Sure.
Thanks for having you here. Don't go away. We'll take a short commercial break and be right back.
In Nevada County, women are making a difference. Whether it's advocating for change, empowering others, or shaping our community's future, the League of Women Voters of Nevada County is here to help you get involved. With nonpartisan voter education, advocacy, and a commitment to a stronger, more informed democracy, the League empowers you to take action and make your voice heard. Join us today at lwvnevadacounty.org. Be the change. Be the voice. Together, we can make a difference. Your voice matters.
Nevada County Elections has begun processing vote-by-mail ballots for the November 4th statewide special election at its new ballot processing center at the Loma Rica warehouse in Grass Valley. The effort to expand election space has been years in development, beginning with the vision of former Clerk Recorder, Register of Voters Gregory Diaz, who retired in January 2023, and continued with efforts from former Clerk Recorder, Register of Voters Natalie Adana, who resigned in June. Located at 1274 Loma Rica Drive, the new facility is significantly larger than the space previously used at the Rood Center. The space for the ballot processing and warehouse storage was previously spread over 3 different sites. Due to the limited space in the previous setup at the Rood Center, only 2 people at a time could observe counting, while other observers were required to stand in the hall and watch through a window. In the new facility, about a dozen people at a time can comfortably observe the ballot process. The center is now processing ballots daily, generally from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. This includes sorting, verifying signatures, and extracting and scanning ballots. For the most up-to-date daily times, see the Nevada County Elections webpage listed in the show notes, or contact the Elections Office at 530-265-1298. Ballot tabulation will begin after 8 p.m. on election night, November 4th. Voters may also vote in person at the Rood Center at 950 Maidu Avenue in Nevada City and at the Truckee Tahoe Airport Community Room at 10356 Truckee Airport Road during regular business hours. 7 additional vote centers will open on a staggered schedule starting Saturday, November 1st. Armando Salud-Ambriz, former Deputy of Elections for Yolo County, was appointed Nevada County's new Clerk Recorder and Registrar of Voters on September 22nd. His official start date was October 13th. The Clerk Recorder, Registrar of Voters is responsible for maintaining records on marriages, births, deaths, fictitious business names, property transactions, and voter registration, as well as administering elections. Salud-Ambriz spent the last 8 years serving in Yolo County's elections office as Deputy of Elections and Election Manager. He has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from California State University, Sacramento, and a master's of public administration from the University of the Pacific McGeorge School of Law. He also has a certification as an elections registration administrator from the National Association of Election Officials, considered the premier national professional certification for election administrators. The position became vacant when Natalie Adana stepped down in June to lead the Marin County Elections Department, with about a year and a half left on her term. Since then, Assistant Clerk Recorder, Registrar of Voters Corey O'Hare has served as Acting Clerk Recorder, Register of Voters. Salud-Ambriz will serve until January 4th, 2027. The position will appear on the ballot during the June 2nd, 2026 primary election, and the candidate elected will begin serving a new 4-year term starting in January 2027. In our studio today, Armando Salud-Ambriz, Nevada County's new Register of Voters, and we welcome you, Armando. Nice to meet you in person.
Thank you for having me.
Well,
it's incredible to be here.
I just can't even imagine what it's like to be hired with an election, right around the corner. So I'm first off, welcome. We're happy to have you here in Nevada County. This is a very proactive and high voter turnout county, as you know. We're pretty proud of that. How did you step into this role, knowing, of course, what was your strategy? Or what comes first, what comes second? It must have been quite a lot of time spent at home, late evenings, trying to figure out your strategy.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's important to note that the team in Nevada County elections under the lead of Corey did a tremendous role. And so I think first and foremost, as someone coming in new in the middle of an election, it's about respecting the process, but also being part of the solution if there's ever something taking place. So I come in knowing there was high regard to the staff, as I had created relationships prior to me even starting, based on my involvement in the state associations. And then I'm just seeing how amazing, small but very mighty team that we have, that I'm so proud to be able to serve as the lead now.
In comparison, Yolo County to Nevada, what's the size? I have no idea the population.
So Nevada County has about 78,000 registered voters, where in comparison to Yolo County, 123,000 registered voters. So Yolo's bigger. Yolo's bigger, and a lot bigger in staffing size as well.
I see. Okay, so you can do it.
We can do it as we have always.
and added on top of this, sort of the reality of a vote or an election, I should say, is this opening of the new processing center. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So this processing center was actually something that my predecessors, both Gregory Diaz and Natalie Adona, were fighting for. Spacing, not only just for spacing wise, but just know that in Nevada County, we've always had such a strict and procedural ballot chain of custody process, mainly because they were processing ballots in 3 different locations.
Right.
So now not only do we have more space that allows not just 2 observers at a time, we can have up to 12 observing every single process that touches a ballot within one safe space.
Yes, and it makes it more efficient.
Effective, and staying true to our word, and that is transparent.
Right, yeah, transparency for sure. So after, we'll talk about the times and the locations that are open right now and what's going to happen up until November 4th in a moment. But what I do want to ask you is what happens with the count and how long and when the results are released after the election. Because it has in the past taken quite a while. This is a one item, except for Truckee, which has Measure G. What is the estimate for when results can be finalized?
Yeah, so in California, and this has been always a hot topic, especially when it comes to federal elections, California is seen as a state that certifies the election the latest, and that is based on California legislature's rules and policies and laws that have actually changed from November 2024 to November 2025,
I see.
And is going to change again in 2026.
Can you tell us that?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
all based on deadlines that the legislature believes we have when we should accept ballots. So, for example, the 2024 election, we were able to accept ballots until 3 days after the election. We are now able to accept 7 days after the election
I
with a
see.
postmark.
I
So
didn't
there's
realize
always
that.
laws and
Right.
changes that we must follow. And it's important to note that this is not because, there's any safekeeping of ballots or anything. It's really wanting the state as a whole, wanting to allow for any ballot that is valid to be able to be counted as part of, at the end of the day, the certification results. So this election, we can't certify until December 3rd. That's when we'll have final ballot counts. But what I can tell you is historically, Nevada County has always finished way above and beyond that time frame. So it's still going to be December 3rd final election results, but we will have our first results Tuesday, November 4th after 8 p.m. and then following every Tuesday and Friday up until we stop counting ballots.
I see. And those numbers can be seen and posted on the Elections Office website? Okay, we'll put that in the show notes, the location, the website location. What happens with the fact that this is just a one, or in Truckey's case, 2 item ballot? Does that expedite the process?
It does help out when it comes to counting or scanning of the ballot. So it's not an elongated ballot with multiple contests. It's really one, or in this case, possibly 2 different ballot types. And so the ballot is a smaller ballot. So our scanners love smaller ballots. And then so it's definitely easier on the process when it comes to efficiencies of getting the ballots counted.
All right. So how's it going so far as the ballot count goes? What does it look like as far as in-person and mail-in and Dropbox?
As you mentioned, Nevada County votes, and that's something we should all as a community and a county take pride in. I hope that we continue in that space. Right now, we have accepted right over 21,000 ballots. That means that have been accepted to be counted, and will be part of that first tabulated amount of results. And we are 27% of the county's registered voters that have participated. Already, 27. Wow. That is 5.
Nevada County always outshines.
Always, and that is 5% higher than the state average as of today.
5% higher than the state hour. That's a good number.
That's a really good number. And so let's keep.
I'm so proud.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And historically, that's the case. So Nevada County, keep it going.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Has there been any malfunctions, any equipment, failures, or anything that you've been concerned about?
I stepped in here, and it's like, is this the calm before the storm? Because it's just an amazing community. It's a smooth election, and primarily, I also have to acknowledge that there's no issues with ballot scanning like there was prior to that. It's nothing in regards to the control of the office, but just there's been changes in regards to the vendors that we use, how they print ballots, and so as of right now, it's a smooth election. We look forward to keeping it smooth, and we don't have any weather occurrences that I foresee is going to create a challenge. So we're excited.
Okay, cool. How about any disturbances, protests, any kind of displays outside the the government center?
No, we have received no calls, no intimidations, no resident as of right now or voter has called us with any concerns of not being able to exercise the democracy, and that is to be able to either vote in person or vote by mail in any case that they do. So as of right now, a safe, sound, and transparent election in Nevada County.
Every year there's somebody who says, my father passed away and he got a ballot or something. How is that minimized and controlled?
So in the process of elections in general, we have so many checks and balances. The list maintenance is what controls kind of the narrative as to how we process cancellation, so on and so forth. And when there is a death in the family or in the region or in the county, there's a multitude of options that we as an elections office receives notification. That's from the clerk recorder's office because we process a death certificate. That is from Social Security. That is from National Change of Address. We have so many opportunities for us to be able to start processing and canceling voters, but it's also important to know, and that is that, let's say, for example, I voted today and I pass away tomorrow, but I submitted my ballot.
Does it count?
It does count because you were alive when you voted.
And that was the last thing I did.
And that was the last thing you did. So just know that we don't have, in that case, folks who did not qualify.
Sure.
If you were alive the moment you signed the ballot and the signature and you passed away the second day, your ballot will still be counted.
Oh, how interesting.
And not the future ones, because there will be no more.
Right. Okay, so let's go over, with the time we have left, some logistics as far as right now you can vote in person at the Truckee or the Nevada City government centers.
Absolutely.
Road Center and then the Airport Center and Truckee. Ballot boxes in, I think, 15 different locations.
22 different locations.
22. locations. We have that list for you on the
Online,
online. And then on November 1st, several more vote centers open.
Absolutely,
right?
throughout the county.
And then the last one to open will be, I believe, San Juan.
San Juan,
and that will only be open on election day.
That is correct. So we'll have a total of 9.
So you have your drop boxes, you have your in-person voting, and you have your mail-in votes. What are the deadlines for that?
So to backtrack a little bit, yesterday was the last day to request a vote by mail ballot gets sent to you. In regards to how to return them, if you use a USPS system, we are encouraging voters, and this is a global kind of recommendation from the state, Secretary of State and Attorney General, that there has been some changes in the larger post office that do handle some of our mail. So we are recommending folks put it in the mail by November 1st. Please keep in mind, if you want that comfort level of knowing that it was postmarked, you can go into your postal clerk's office, the USPS office, and ask your postal clerk to stamp it right in front of you, and you know that you have 7 days from election day to be able to for us to receive it and count it.
Okay, so we've got the vote centers, in-person voting, the ballots, and mail-in covered. What about registration? I know you can do conditional registration until November 4th. Is that correct?
November 4th. So
and what are the requirements for that?
The requirements are the exact same ones as being a voter, that you must live in the county, you must be a resident of the county, and then you must attest and fill out the registration form. What you do is you fill out your registration form and you vote right then and there. You cannot take it home. Why? Because at the end of the day, when we start processing the vote by mail ballots, we save those to last to ensure that there was no double voting in any case.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
So there really are a lot of checks and balances.
Very much so.
Interesting. Okay. Is there anything else that you would like our audience to know as far as the logistics go? Did I miss anything?
No, I think
postmarked. I don't think we said the final postmark for the mail-in ballot needs to be November 4th.
November 4th.
Whatever time.
Whenever the post office closes, do not be confused of when election day ends, which is 8 p.m. So it's postmark when the post office closes. So if you drop off your mail in a USPS without it being postmarked, we might be able to.
I was in the Bay Area for a long time, and certain post offices did stay open late just for that postmark, but that doesn't happen here.
Correct.
In Nevada County. Got it. So, okay. Well, it's interesting. To see you just kind of throw yourself in here, and that I think a lot of this is so standardized that there's nothing left up to guessing. It's a matter of just getting in there and your leadership and so on. And as you say, the staff has been doing a great job.
It is an honor to be here and serving as the lead department head for this office. I bring a wealth of experience, and not just in managing in an office, but in managing people and just giving them the respect that they deserve, because we are hardworking individuals in this field of election administration. And something also to know, I'm someone's neighbor, I'm someone's family member, so know that I am processing this, I am in charge of a process in a nonpartisan way, and truly all I care is for people to get registered and to vote.
It's our power to vote.
Yes.
And I will be observing at some of the vote centers when the time comes, and people are welcome to come and sign in at a vote center and observe how the day is going.
Observe the process. If you have any questions on what you observe, contact me, contact my office. We're here to debunk anything that you possibly think you could see wrong, and we're also here to learn. The elections office and our staff are here to grow and learn, and if there's processes that we can improve on, that's what we're going to do.
I do want to add that November 3rd is Election Hero Day, so you'll probably be hearing from the League of Women Voters on that day, but we do appreciate your work. And again, welcome to the county.
Thank you so much
Lovely
for
to meet you.
having me. Take care.
Well, folks, thank you for watching this edition of Nevada County Now, your choice for local news brought to you by locals. We'd love your input about the show, what you would like to see on future shows, or if you would like to be a guest or contribute as a host, writer, or producer. Please email your ideas and suggestions to news@nevadacountytv.org. And please help us spread the word about Nevada County Now. Together we can keep our community informed. Until next time, have fun getting out there to explore all our community has to offer and vote.